What's up, everybody? My name is Caleb and welcome back to the channel if you are a returning viewer. If you're a new viewer, then know that this channel is all about budget and slow travel destination information. So today's topic is the cost of living for Indonesia 2025 going into 2026. If you're a budget traveler and a slow traveler like us, and you're curious about some of the expectations you should have for cost of living if you plan on visiting Indonesia, then this is the right place. There's a couple of topics that I would like to go over, particularly accommodation, food, and entertainment, we'll call it. So let's get started. Accommodation is pretty affordable here in Indonesia. Currently, and this is off Airbnb, they generally offer a pretty big discount for people looking to stay 30 days or more in a particular place. If you have the ability to stay longer, then you can probably negotiate with the renter, with the homeowner, to kind of get a better deal for a longer term. However, we, for example, are paying about 500 USD a month for a pretty nice 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. I don't know the square footage or meterage, but it's a pretty good size, high ceilings, full amenities. You have the fridge and the cooking utensils and plates and cups and stovetop, showers in pretty good condition. Everything is there that you could possibly need. Now, 500 a month for this place is more than the locals are going to pay, but still, I would consider it a pretty good deal by Western standards. Also, this is the beach that is, I don't know, like a 5-10 minute walk from where we are currently staying here on Lombok, Indonesia. Lombok is the island next to the, I would argue, most popular island, Bali and Denpasar. So, if you are a solo traveler looking for maybe a 1-bedroom or a studio for an affordable price, you can probably find something for as cheap as, I don't know, 300 USD, maybe a little cheaper, up to 350, 400, 450 USD for a studio or a 1-bedroom. If you're looking for a 2-bedroom like we have, you're gonna be looking in the range of probably between 450 to 700, maybe a little bit more depending on the area. So when I say depending on the area, as kind of the side note, there are 2 places in Indonesia that are significantly more elevated in price than anywhere else. And this is, I would say, central Jakarta and Denpasar in Bali. These are the most popular areas. Bali is a pretty well-known tourist destination, and you're definitely going to find elevated prices for everything there. Jakarta just recently became the world's largest city, and there's a pretty big disparity between the rich Indonesians driving nice cars through the city center, and then a lot of the lower paid people that live out on the outskirts of the city and then commute inward. But if you insist on staying in one of these 2 places, just expect to pay twice, maybe sometimes 3 times as much as you would for similar things in the rest of Indonesia. We chose Lombok for this specific reason of budget travel and, in my opinion, a honestly more authentic experience. So, back to the accommodation prices. If you are a couple looking for a 2-bedroom in an expensive area, expect to pay maybe $1,000, maybe a little bit more, up to $1,500. If you have $1,000 a month to spend on accommodation here in Indonesia, you're going to have a lot of variety, honestly, and you're going to have a lot of choices. Food. Moving on to what can you eat and how much will it cost you? I would argue that Indonesia has some of the cheapest food prices that I have seen anywhere in all of my travels. Maybe comparable to Argentina when it was at its lowest point during the economic crisis, or comparable to maybe Vietnam earlier this year. You can get a I don't know, a sandwich and some French fries and a drink for $2–3. You can get some local food like a chicken satay and some rice for $1 USD, maybe 2. That was a loud wave. But even if there's like a nice Western style restaurant a 5 minutes walk from our house where I can get a really fancy Caesar salad with homemade croutons and dressing, or like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich with homemade fries and a side salad, and this is gonna cost me, once again, maybe $3.50, $4. Shaylin and I went to a nice chain ramen restaurant in the mall the other weekend, and for both of us, with each a bowl of ramen and a couple of drinks, I think we paid maybe $9 USD for that meal. So you can easily eat for, as an individual, $10 a day and be totally fine. You can drop that down probably to $6 a day if you really wanted to. However, once again, if you're looking for something super fancy, like some kind of 5-star Michelin experience in Bali, you can pay as much as you want. Maybe $15, $20, $25 a meal is gonna get you something pretty fancy, which is still quite affordable by a lot of Western standards. Now, as far as groceries go, honestly, we don't have that much experience with groceries here because we eat out and order a lot. It is just so affordable to eat out here that I think we've cooked at home over this last month maybe 3 times. We admittedly order from Grab a lot because it is quite affordable, and each time we order from Grab, we each get our fill of whatever food we want, and we're probably spending $6, maybe $7 for both of us, and then on top of that, maybe a $2–3 tip for the driver, and they always seem to be very happy about even a $2–3 tip. But the point being is that if you're gonna come and stay in a place like Indonesia, you probably don't need to cook at home that much, or unless you like to, but it's not gonna save you that much money, and in some cases it might actually be more expensive. I'm gonna turn back and head a little farther down the other side of the beach here. Now, if we're gonna talk about fun and entertainment costs, this is I think is the most populous Muslim country in the world. They operate under Shia law, as far as I understand, and alcohol has a bit of a tax. If you're looking for something like wine or something, you're gonna pay, I don't know, still maybe $10, $15 a bottle, or $20, $25, depending on how kind of nice you want it to be. Beer is cheaper, obviously, but still more expensive than places like Thailand or Vietnam, for example. You are looking to pay probably $3, $4 a bottle for some of the cheaper bottles of beer, and then imported beer is going to be even more expensive than that. $3, $4 is for the liter. If you are just getting like a small regular bottle, probably maybe $2 in just the local smaller stores. Once again, if you are in a really popular area like some of the popular beaches of Bali, or on like the Gili Islands, for example, which are super touristic, I recommend visiting the Gili Islands, but all the prices there for everything are going to be elevated. There, for even the small bottle of their cheapest beer, you're looking to pay probably $4. If you go to some of the clubs in the popular areas, you're going to be paying kind of close to US prices for like a cocktail or drinks, $4, $5, $6 potentially. So it can add up if you want, if that's your kind of thing. We honestly don't go to clubs or anything like that very much, and maybe just have a couple beers on the weekend, so it's not going to break us. But if you want to do like a tour or something, there's a ton of tours. I mean, obviously, I think snorkeling and diving tours are some of the most popular and well-known, and they are quite affordable. You can get divers training here for, I don't know, $50, and you can do a snorkeling all-day tour for $50, $75, you're gonna find places that want to charge you $100 or $150 for a day tour to go see, for example, the underwater statues. This is too much. You can find a better deal. Check Facebook groups, maybe even Reddit or something, so you can maybe get in contact with one of the local guides. They hang out on a lot of those groups, and just get in contact with a local person, ask around, and you can get a nice tour for probably 50 USD or maybe even less, depending on what the tour includes. Now, if you want to rent a scooter, this is also going to be really cheap, at least as cheap as other countries. And so far here, it's been probably the cheapest scooter rental I've had. We rented a scooter for about a month, 3 weeks is just what I asked him for. And I brought him down a little bit. You can negotiate a lot of stuff here in Indonesia, not everything, not all the time, but some of the stuff is definitely negotiable, like a lot of other countries in Southeast Asia. We rented a scooter for, I think it averaged out to like $2.70 per day for about 3 weeks. So, I don't know, $20, $25 a week, something like that. Pretty affordable, and the scooter gets us around just fine for 2 people or 1 person. And I don't know, besides that, there's other tours you can do, and eating out, who I already said was really cheap. One of the main things though is, honestly, I would say try to avoid paying the highest prices for anything. You're not actually helping very much by like paying the highest prices. It's usually not like just evenly distributed through the locals or anything like that. And a lot of the times, foreigners coming in and continuously paying elevated prices just raises rental prices, raises food costs, and generally increases the cost of living for all travelers and locals alike. So a little bit of deal hunting is not a bad thing, and you shouldn't see it that way. Now, I recommend staying in the lesser known parts of Indonesia, such as Lombok, which is becoming more popular, honestly, as Bali continues to be kind of a shit show, and it's just kind of overwhelmed with people trying to sell you stuff, tours, and all of that kind of thing. Now, overall, I would say Indonesia is probably one of the most affordable countries that you can visit going into 2026. If you're just an individual traveler who is a budget traveler and you're looking to stay here for like a month, for example, you could probably get away with as little as 1,000 USD a month. Let's say you spend 350 on a nice little studio or a 1-bedroom somewhere. Let's say you spend $100 per month on renting a scooter, so you got $450. Let's say you spend, on average, $10 a day for food. For 30 days, that's 300. So 450, 5, 6, 750. Let's just round it up to 800, and then you still have a couple $100 to take a couple of tours or have increased food costs or whatever it is that you think is worth it. If you have more than $1,000, then you can definitely have a luxurious month or a couple of months here in 1,500 per month. I don't know, 1,500 for 2 months would be a rough. You could probably do it, but I don't know if I would recommend it. So the lowest budget I would say I would recommend for staying in a affordable part of Indonesia for an individual is probably 1,000 USD a month. If you have a higher budget, like 1,500 or 2,000 USD a month, you're gonna be totally fine. You can basically do whatever you want and not have to worry about what anything is gonna cost you if you have $2,000 to spend for the month in Indonesia. In our experience so far, Indonesia has probably been one of the most enjoyable countries I've ever been to. It's super affordable, like I've been saying. The people are extremely, extremely kind. The food is pretty good. There's a lot of good food, a lot of seafood. If you want to surf, you can surf. If you want to dive, you want to dive. If you want to hike, you want to hike. There's monkeys, there's corals, there's all sorts of things. And the English level is actually surprisingly good for a lot of the locals that I've seen as well. There is a decent expat community here. Everybody's very kind, like I said. Everybody smiles and waves. but there is a decent expat community in Bali and even here on Lombok. So you can find other tourists, not only just at like tourist destinations, but you can find quite a few Europeans or Americans living here, enjoying their lives and just kind of having a lot of retirees just trying to make the most of their retirement funds, I guess, I would imagine. But for affordability, I would rate Indonesia probably a 9 out of 10, honestly. If you're a couple looking to stay in Indonesia for the month, $2,000 should be fine. $1,000 per person, like I was saying. If you've got more to spend than that, then once again, you guys are gonna be totally good. What's up, everybody? Everybody says hi. Super kind people. I think Indonesia has probably been one of the kindest countries that I've been to. Everybody wants to say what's up. Everybody wants to ask me questions. Where are you from? What's going on? So if you're considering Indonesia as a slow budget traveler coming into 2026, do it, man. You're not going to regret it. It's affordable. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Come check out Indonesia. All right. Somebody always says that the prices I give are too low, and somebody always says the prices that I give are too high. These prices that I've mentioned today are based on our personal experience and talking to other digital nomads and doing a bit of research. So if you disagree, tell me down below. If you've managed to live for less than $1,000 a month, then congratulations to you. Tell me how you did that. If you're spending more than $1,000 a month as an individual, tell me what you're spending and tell me why it's costing you that much. I would love to hear both sides. Well, till next time, guys, peace.